version. I always like that. By 1080 full screen borderless window. Let's do the borderless field of vision. Yeah, let's crank this up. I got a good enough computer. Trilinear? No, we're gonna go for the 16 times. Triple buffered. I don't know what that means. This means, okay, multi-core rendering. Yep. Very high. For a game that doesn't really matter, but come on, widescreen. Cinematographic look. Cinematographic. Yeah, that's a good word.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
I've seen a lot of stuff that actually talks about this as a concept. And since I've never actually played it, I've never actually got to explore it there. No one.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
That's it. I hate Mondays.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
There is some trace. That doesn't have a number on it. So I can turn this computer. That's a different computer. It has like a floppy drive. That one. It's like a fake computer. Yeah, this one actually has papers on it. Partition Corporation. It's like an old keyboard. It's like a power switch on it. But, that's cool. Garfield reference there. Every time I see these little cubicles like that, it just reminds me of
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
they don't come through. Door on the left. 413. Kind of like these pictures. It's just this other place. It's like there's like stains on every inch of this place, every wall, every floor, every ceiling tile. There's like a discoloration, or sort of like a dirtiness, grim, not grim, but griminess. Like there's just everything is just flecked, pasted, and smeared here. Is it the actual time? 10:56. Yeah, it's actually like an hour ahead. Huh. I think. Wait. What? Oh. How many hands are on that clock? There's like a second hand. Is that the hour hand, or is that...
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Do not alter without consulting a whiteboard manager. R.I.P. friends. This is the meeting room because there's a meeting schedule for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Going from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Doesn't look like they have lunch scheduled in there. What to do about 4:32? Don't tell 4:32 about me meeting. Group 4-4, group 4-3, group 4-2, group 4-1, group 4. Oh, it's almost like every cubicle. Cabal planning. Cabal being a secret hidden group. Huh. The 40 to the 45. With the way that's mapped out, it looks like they went top to bottom and started again. Like it's a weird logic. It works.
Stanley just stood there doing nothing at all. He seems to think I have nothing better to do with my time than to sit around and describe every fascinating little detail of his inability to do anything. This is why Stanley and I are on such good terms.
No, she does. Standard graph 40xy. Get the Chris out of the broom closet. Synergize papers. Remove my desk. Paper synergizing guy. Hire somebody to fire. Oh, I'm reading it. Bottom to top here. Hire someone to synergize papers. Papers are too synergized. Fire paper back. Hire someone to fire the paper synergizing guy. Please keep the target on the topic of tomorrow. Complete today's unfinished agenda items. Write next day's agenda. Refleet. Oh. Employee 417 491 431 405 416 and Jim there is a lot to... That's kind of cool, so I took all the time to write all this. There's like a little... Solving interpersonal conflicts. If you ever find yourself... Oh, okay. What are your dreams for the future? Talk radio, mitosis, chart, transcend nature, success, lunch, plant life, a boat. Tips for not getting fired. Talk less. Do unbelievably amazing work all the time, every day, with no expectations of promotion or recognition. Yeah, that's how you not get fired. Ball it up inside of you. Take the passive aggressivity on other coworkers. Resent coworkers for not supporting you more. Use slides to assure employees that everything is okay. Make sure the slide has a slick blue graphic header at the top there. This will ensure calm, productive work environment. It's so true. Everyone is unique. You most of all. Number of slides on this slide. Charts, charts and slides, slides. Rate at which chart on the same slide depicts the same information. Interesting. Slide chart ratio, market ratio. Rate of increases of graphs per slide. Yeah, okay, please, no more charts. I'm begging. Stop. The boss appreciation merit. On the boss appreciation merit, circle the top 20 things you love most about your boss. Do it in triplicate and return to the boss appreciation specialist. Suffering interpersonal conflicts. If you ever find yourself in conflict with an diligent employee like yourself, but more inclined towards conflict, unless you're the kind of person who initiates conflicts, why did we hire you? Okay, well then, that's purposefully made. Just slightly too fast, and that bugs me. Bi-quarterly post review. Insights of demographic. Spare between the teenagers. Space between the teenagers. Teenagers alone. So that's the demographic, that's the teenagers, and that's literally everyone else. There's something in the ideas bin. Maybe it's recycling bin. No more bin. No more bins, trash cans. Name of the idea. Firing me. Okay. So let's bi-quarterly post review. We need more or less reviews. Oh, less reviews. 402 plus 405. I want to get rid of the death sport portion in the primary review schedule. But I think that's a stupid idea. More water coolers, more water cooler heaters. Chart needs to be more hip to appeal to teenage demographic. Find teenagers to put in a teenage demographic. Big net, some sort of child trap. What do people want? Things. And then happy feelings. My James, you were fired. Oh gosh. Money, more money, things. But with money to buy more things, graphs. Graph about things. And we have our new product. Profits. Target demographic, teenagers. Stripes. Requires more secondary research. Colored in segments. The stock market is in here somewhere. And there's a telephone directory there. Interesting. Today, synergize core values, expenditures, shift global market paradigms, monetize free to play. It's true. Monetizing free to play is good. Just post them up there. Broom closet. Okay. And it's...
Stanley stepped into the broom closet. There was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Well, I mean, there's like weapons in here. A nuclear bomb.
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow. Just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
You know, him saying that makes me want to stay here now. It's like, this is my life now.
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
Wow. Kind of wouldn't have been fun. It's just weird that there's this yellow.
Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing? Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
You know, if it wasn't for this one broom, it would still be a broom closet, wouldn't it? Even without a broom in it.
You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it.
Is he done?
Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friend, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friends find this concerning.
That seems to be...
Stanley was fat and ugly and really, really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That, or with coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Alright. Oh, I love the Damascus wallpaper. So it's got the old computer too. A couple of pencils, 2 phones. Oh. This is beautiful. Executive bathroom. Or as the British call it, the loo. Oh.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
That's beautiful.
Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Well, now I do.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway. Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Escape. Yeah. You know why I like this so much? I love mind control stuff.